Greetings! In this video I'll be painting some industrial styled bases. This is intended to be a simple method, which can be done pretty quickly. These bases are from the Boarding Actions Void War Bases kit, specifically the 28.5mm ones. I finished these 10 bases in half an hour, that's including the time I was choosing paints. As a sponge I'm just using a random piece of packing foam, but I've used kitchen sponges in the past and they work okay too. I've started by priming them black, and will begin by sponging on some Wordbearer's red. I want the bases to be a nice darkish red, so they don't stand out too much with the minis on top. Wordbearer's red is a nice shade to start with. The sponging will help give a grimy look from the very start, so less weathering is necessary to achieve a believable look. You can see I'm applying it fairly thick with the sponge, but there's still some black showing through. It's not fully covering the surface. With the first coat finished, you can see the nice grimy effect, especially around the rivets. After the Wordbearer's red, I switched to pink horror and did a much lighter sponge. This is meant to look like a chipping effect, and to get another colour into the mix. I then switched to Wild Rider red and applied a similar light sponge. In hindsight, I think this maybe was a bit too bright. It's overpowering the pink a bit. I recommend using Squid Orange instead, but this still looks okay. Now for some of the details. I used Khorne red to paint up some of the pipes and containers. You could probably do this before the sponging if you're worried about making mistakes, but it shouldn't matter too much either way. I then used Leadbelcher for the parts I wanted silver. These were the grates and some of the pipe work like with Khorne red. I then used Balthasar gold for some of the spots I wanted a bronzy brass colour, the numerals, skulls, and some of the pipes again. I then switched back to the sponge, and lightly applied some Leadbelcher to get a chipping effect. I did this a bit heavier in spots I wanted to look more worn. After I was happy with those metallics, I applied a dark grey wash over them, not worrying if it spills out a bit, as those stains just add more weathering. and with that I painted the edges with Black Legion contrast paint and it was done. And here we have it, some nice and simple industrial bases. As I said before, I finished these in about half hour, but I think about half of that was choosing colours. Any additional weathering like enamel washes could be applied after you glue the model to the base. And likewise, you can varnish these alongside your finished model if you want. You can also switch out the colours on this pretty easily. For a blue, you could use Cantor blue as the heavy sponge, and then use blue horror and a Latex blue for the light sponges. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one.